Hey there, and welcome to Safe Moves, Happy Knees. We're going to be spending the next 20 minutes or so working on moves for not only our knees, but our hips and our ankles too. Because when the hips and the ankles aren't working together, the knees do not stay happy. So today we're going to start sitting on the mat. We're going to sit with our legs out long in front of us. If that's a hard position for you, get something to sit on, like a blanket or a pillow, something to just get your hips up off the floor a little bit more. And I'll meet you on the mat. All right, so legs out nice and long in front. I'm just gonna say from the get-go, keep that nice tall spine, even though we're gonna be focusing on the legs and the ankles, keep that tall spine. We're gonna point the toes and flex. Point and flex. Just keep working through those two positions. Notice the fronts of your ankles. We really wanna stretch them out. And then when you flex, you should get a nice deep creases in those ankles. So just keep going. And then circle. So if you need to separate your feet a little bit, you can. Just gonna circle around. Try to keep the movement in your legs to a minimum. They will move a little bit, but try to keep it really in the ankles and the feet. Best you can. You can spread those toes out while you're doing these. And then reverse it. All right. Bring those legs back in line. So they're about hips distance apart. And then just look at your legs. Follow that line from your hip bones, the pointy part of your hip bones, down your thighs, over your kneecaps, down your that bony part of your shin, right down that bony part, right through the center of the ankle, and then out through the second toe. So that's going to be the line we're going to keep looking for. We don't want to see a diagonal line veering off to the side and our toes going out to the side like that. So we're going to keep looking. I'm going to call it a straight line, even though it's not perfectly a straight line. Now look at your kneecaps. You can even feel them. And just notice if they look to you like they're centered or if they're turned in a little bit or turned out. Just notice what they look like. And then take your hands right on top of those kneecaps like this. We're going to use those quad muscles to try to slide the kneecaps up our thighs. It's all in our imagination and the muscular engagement. They're not actually going to move at all. So engage through those quads, try to pull those kneecaps up and then release. And again, engage those quads. Your feet will probably flex a little bit more and pull those kneecaps up. Think about pulling them up in a straight line up your thighs. And again, I know this one is hard to see, so I'll try to demonstrate with my hands what's going on. 2 more times. Good, and release, and then just gently shake out those legs. All right, nice job. Take it down to the mat. We're gonna lay on our backs, knees are bent, feet are on the floor. Try to have your feet about hips distance apart so they're in line with your sits bones. Your sits bones are those bony parts deep in your tushy. So they want to be in line with the heels. And then take your hands behind your head so you can support your head and just pick your head up and look at what's going on with your femur bone and your knees. Again, we're looking for that straight line from the pointy part of our hip right down the center of our thigh. Our kneecap should be centered on top, looking up at the ceiling. And then from there, down that bony part of our shin, through the center of the ankle, out the second toe. So that's the alignment we want to keep as we do some bridges. Exhale, rock your pelvis towards you. As soon as you feel that low back just gently pressing into the mat, start rolling up. Keep that line from the hip bones, down the thighs, out the knees. Lots of energy reaching towards the wall on that side of your room. And roll down. Maintain that energy reaching out your thighs and kneecaps as you keep it coming down. Let's go again. Roll up. Lengthen, 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 lengthen. And roll it down. I'm going to let you do bridges at your own pace. It's always good to articulate up and down the spine, but today we're really focusing on the alignment of the lower body. So you can take these a little bit faster than usual. Now at this point, notice your feet. Notice the soles of your feet on the floor. As you're rolling up and down, are you shifting your weight to the outer edges of your feet or the inner edges? We want to try to keep that nice and balanced. One more time. Come all the way down to your neutral spine position. So your tailbone should be heavy, your low back should be light, your pelvis is relatively level with the floor. Right leg is going to reach straight out underneath you. So we're going to have to hover it over the floor a little bit. We want to keep this pelvis in neutral. We don't want that right side to tip down. So keep it up. And then we're going to hinge at the hip, bringing that leg towards the ceiling. You do not have to get it to 90 degrees. As you can see, a nice 45-degree works just good. Take your heel, pull it down towards your sits bone, and then reach that leg back out long again. Up, bend, reach. Keep thinking about that straight line we found at the beginning of class, from the bony point of your hip all the way down and out that second toe. And on this next one, when your leg is high in the air, we're going to hold it there. Get those core muscles ready to help. 10 quick pulses towards you. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now we're reversing the direction. So bring that leg down towards the floor. Pull your heel in towards the sits bone. Reach that leg up long towards the ceiling. Bring it down. Pull it in. Keep it up. And the next time that leg is long towards the ceiling, pulses again. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let that leg come on down and just tilt your pelvis side to side to shake everything out. Okay, back to center, back to neutral. We're going to reach that left leg long, hinge at the hip, lifting it up, keeping that straight line through all those landmarks. Bend your knee, pulling that heel in towards your sits bone, or reach it long. Hinge it up, pull it in. And the next time your leg is straight, we pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're reversing direction, so that leg's going down. It's pulling in and straightening back towards the ceiling. And next time that leg is straight, we're going to hold it there, pulse again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lower that leg all the way down and pull your heel back in so your heels are underneath those sits bones and your knees are pointing straight up towards the ceiling. And take your hands to your hips if they're not already there. The hands are going to look for any subtle movements in the pelvis, even just an itty bitty movement. We want to try to prevent that. We're keeping the pelvis still. As we lift the knee up, don't think about the foot and the shin. Think about the knee. Lift the knee up over the hip so that femur bone is pointing straight up towards the ceiling. And then place the foot down. So first think knee, lift the other knee up so it's over the hip. And place the foot down. Keep going side to side. Your hands are there to look for any subtle movements. The only thing you should be feeling with your hands are those core muscles engaging. This looks like a very simple movement, but it's not. It gets really detailed, really deep. Stay mindful of it. And just one more. Good. Place the feet down. Let's roll over onto the belly. You rest your forehead on your hands. And then just be still for a moment. Notice what your legs are doing. Notice if one feels turned out, one feels turned in. Notice what your feet are doing. Just notice. You don't have to change anything yet. All right, then we're going to try to bring our legs into a nice alignment in this prone position. So those sits bones, those bony parts in your tush, and that's going to be our starting point. We're going to go straight down through the back of the thigh, straight through the center of the back of the knee, down the calf, right into the Achilles tendon, and then out the heel. So again, we're looking for that straight line, the same one we had in the front. Curl your right toes under. And it might be a little bit easier to get a sense of all those landmarks connecting to each other. And then press your right heel far away from you towards the bottom of your mat. And that's going to lift your knee, your right knee up off the floor. Use those quad muscles to try to pull your kneecap up your quads, just like we did at the beginning. And then release. And reach that right heel away from you. Kneecap lifts. And then try to use those quad muscles to slide the kneecap up your leg. Keep going. And last one. Great. You can keep your leg in that position, or if you want, you can uncurl your toes, whatever's more comfortable for you. But curl your left toes under. Same thing. We're going to press that left heel back further towards the bottom of our mat. Kneecap will lift up, and then engage those quads, trying to pull the kneecap up the front of your leg. And release. And pull it up. And release. Keep going. Last one. So let that leg rest. Back to the right leg. Bend the knee. You want to try to get a 90-degree angle in that knee joint. I know it's hard because you can't see it, but try your best. And then we still want to keep that straight line. A lot of times when we go into this position, our lower leg starts to turn out a little bit. So we want to keep the sits bone in line with the center of the heel. I'm sorry, the sits bone in line with the center of the back of the knee. And then up your calf, up through the Achilles tendon, and out your heel. Flex your foot. And then lift your knee up off the floor, even just a little bit. Or even if you're just trying to lift the knee up and it's not actually lifting up, that's okay too. We're still engaging the muscles the right way. Ready, lift, pressing the sole of your foot up towards the ceiling, and release. Keep going. Now the catch here is still to keep your pelvis still. We don't want to shift the pelvis to the right. We don't want it to be wiggly or wobbly. So belly muscles engage, hip creases anchor into the floor, and then lift and release. Keep it up. Last one for the right side. Good, kneecap back to the floor. Point your toes and lengthen that leg down in that nice straight line all the way to the floor. Bend your left knee. Flex your foot. We want to find that straight line, so we don't want that leg going out to the side at all. And then when you're ready, belly muscles in, hip creases down. Lift that kneecap and release. Well, let's do 2 more. All right, knee to the floor, point your toes, lower that leg all the way back down. Great, roll to your right side. And we want to stack our hips up so they're in a nice alignment here. Your lower waist should feel nice and light on the floor. Reach both legs long. Keep reaching longer through your left heel as you lift that leg up to hip height and lower it down. Today, I want you to focus on that straight line from your hip bone down your thigh, down the center of your kneecap, down the bony part of your shin, through the center of your ankle, out the second toe. Keeping that alignment. We're not turning up, we're not turning in. Nice and neutral. And then making this a little bit more challenging to keep that neutral position throughout our leg. We're going to hold at about hip height and pedal our bikes. Trying to keep that alignment consistent the whole time. So we want to keep the hip, knee, and ankle all at the same height. That's a good indicator that we're on the right track. And then reverse the direction. And then go ahead and lengthen that leg out nice and long. We're going to flip over to the other side. So first, find the alignment, stacked hips, light in the bottom waistline, lift that top leg up just about to hip height. Being aware of that straight line down the center of our leg and up and release. All right, let's go into the bicycle now. And keep that straight line. Reverse it. And last one, bring that leg nice and straight down your body. All right, we're going to roll to our back again. Hands to your hip bones. And again, those hands are looking out for any subtle little changes. We want to keep this pelvis as neutral as possible. Open the left knee out to the side. And then pull it back into center. And the right knee. And back to center. What we're doing here is just mobilizing those hips with the knee in a different relationship. So you notice now that the knee is not right in center with that center line. We're taking the knee off to the side, but it's staying happy because we've done all that work before. And we're just integrating the movement into it. 1 or 2 more. Good, then rest there. Come on up to standing for our last one. I'm going to use your chair for this, or if you have a coffee table that's a better height, that's fine too. Okay, so let's bring the left foot up to the chair. We're going to be on our right foot, so already balance is a consideration. We're looking for that line through the hip, through the thigh, down the center of the knee, down the center of the shin, through the center of the ankle, out the second toe. I'm going to lunge forward, keeping that line, and lunge, and then pull it back, and lunge forward, and pull it back. Now, we're not only focused on just the left leg, but that right leg that's supporting you as it's coming forward, we're keeping that straight line. We're keeping the relationship. I already noticed that my right foot's turned out a little bit, probably to help me with balance. So I'm going to pause for a moment and bring that foot in. Yep, you can see how my balance is getting harder. I want to keep reaching out long through that second toe. Lunge forward, bring it back. Whew, way harder. 2 more on this side. All right, let's switch. So right foot up on your chair, your table. We're looking for those 2 lines out the second toes. And lunge it forward. Bring it back. And just 1 more. Come all the way back up to standing. Thank you so much for joining me for Happy Knees today. I hope as you're walking around through your day that at least your knees can remain happy and good. So we'll see you next time. Bye.